Hi there guys, Farmer Bob here, man. Great to be back, guys, with another video. Wonderful. Always nice to make some content for you guys. Great, man. Yeah, ground deformation. That's our big bonus here in FS25, but sometimes a nightmare, as you can see. Sometimes it's in places where you don't want it. Look at the nice birds going over there. Isn't it quite cute? Anyways, so sometimes you don't want ground deformation in certain places, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of it in places where you don't want it. Yeah, there's a lot of questions about that, and I've been struggling with that myself for a while until I figured out how on earth do you manage ground deformation in the game, you know, or in the editor. So that is basically what this whole video is about. We've recently converted this map on my previous video, how to convert FS22 maps to Farming Simulator 25, and yeah, apart from all the gazillion errors that I had on converting the map, I will definitely be making some more videos on map conversion, and I'm going to do it as a series so that you have more than one video on how to convert a map. So we'll tackle one problem at a time, and this here is definitely one problem. As you can see, I don't want this type of ground deformation on my farmyard, you know. I mean, imagine if I've driven around a bit, it will be horrible, full of holes and deep trenches and stuff. Oh my word. So we can't allow that to happen, and I'm going to show you. So yeah, a warm welcome if this is your first time here on my channel. Great to have you. Thank you for watching. Do remember to subscribe. Just pause right now, subscribe, and then hit the like if you don't mind. If you like my content, do remember to like. I appreciate that very much, guys. And then also do share my stuff. And lastly, a huge big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Yeah, but these birds are busy today. They don't know where to fly to. A big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you all. That's it for now. Let's get out of the game, and I'm going to show you exactly how to get rid of the ground deformation. Now, what I've done is, in the background, I've opened the map so long for us to work, and I need to do one more thing in the map. We want to open one of the in-game maps. Super. So into Farming Simulator 25, data, maps. Let's use the US map, because I think I have some gravel dust there. I must definitely use the US map. That way that ground texture is working. Map US, there it is. And let's open that so long. So how ground deformation works is actually very simple. It works per ground texture. In other words, in your map you have various ground textures. So if you want to zoom in close to, say, this area here, I have a few ground textures here that you can see. I can see already 3 hanging about. And if I go to my terrain texture paint mode and I control R on it, it says pathway gravel, you see. So that's important to note. And this will be probably dirt, yeah, and that will probably be concrete. Pathway gravel. Okay, so I've used mostly pathway gravel, and this is grass and dirt. So I'm making a note of all my most used ground textures. I'm sure I have concrete somewhere. I really love the pathway gravel on this. And I think also forest ground. The fields, you don't worry about the fields, because the fields you normally in general would like ground deformation on. So I want to just quickly drive around a bit, or fly around rather. Just make sure of all my textures. So this is definitely pathway gravel. When I got to the texture, I normally stick with it, you know. So it's pathway gravel, grass and dirt on this map that I mostly use. If I can have a look at that just quickly. There's dirt there again, I'm sure. That's grass, dirt, grass and pathway gravel. Okay, so that's what you want to do, is make a note of the used textures in your map, the ground textures, that is, not foliage, ground textures. This ground deformation got nothing to do with the foliage layer. It's all about the terrain texture layer, in other words, the ground textures. Alright, so what we're going to do is you'll click on your terrain, right click, and then go to the layer manager. And then you want to expand this thing out into Kingdom Come, like that, as far as you can, both left and right, so you can see up to move row. That will be the end of it. Now, the first thing you want to do is go to your original farming simulator map, like this one, and do the same on that. Right click and then layer manager. And now we're going to simply find those textures and get the correct ground texture settings. I'll just do the one for you, which is in mine, it was that one, the what do you call it, the pathway gravel. So I'll find pathway gravel on mine, and there will be 4 on a converted map. In FS25 you only have 2, but in FS22 we had 4 textures that makes a combined layer, so there will be 4 base textures. So we're going to find pathway gravel here, and there it is. Alright, so I'm just going to do one of them, like I say, and then that should point you in the right direction how to do yours. So we're going to find on this one, this is now map US, the same thing, pathway gravel. It should be here somewhere, guys, I promise you. Up it's here. Gravel, pebbles, gravel small. So pathway gravel, by the looks of it, is not part of this map. Maybe then I should use, no, I want pathway gravel, guys, because pathway gravel is going to be the easiest to see the effect of what I want to show. So let's go into map EU. I'm sure it might be in here then, if not in map US. Pathway gravel. I can actually quickly have a look before we spend all the time going in there. Just find the P for pathway gravel. Where is it? It is totally possible. I can't believe that it is. It doesn't look like it has pathway gravel even in the EU map. So it is possible that it's not in FS25. Can it be? It is really pathway gravel. It's really not in FS25. Okay, so not a biggie, guys. So we're going to go back to our map US and just reopen it, and I'll just use another texture for that. But the idea is to get the same texture. If you can't find the same texture, just use one of the which one is this now? Map EU. Okay, so it's already open, so let me just close it, because otherwise I don't think it will be so good to have 3 maps open, you know. Might just crash my PC here, because when you work with these things, do make a backup of your map first, guys. Very important. Don't do any of these things without a map backup. Very important. Start by making the map backup first, and then do this, because sometimes these things crash, and it could mess up your terrain, because I've had many crashes working with the ground textures, especially if you make a small little error somewhere and save it, and then you close, and then whoop, bang, your map just crashes and closes on you, so very important. Just get that out of the way. Alright, so layer manager. Let's expand this again. Now gravel, by default, pathway gravel is basic gravel, so we'll just go for the normal gravel if I can find it. There it is. Alright, so the characteristics of gravel, you'll see there is placement max height. Now these are all displacement max height. This is all related to our problem, all the new stuff that's in here, the roughness, the firmness, viscosity, firmness when wet, softness, all of that has got to do with our terrain deformation. So that is why we're going to grab this line of gravel and use that straight out for our gravel section in hours, you know. So back into my map where I want to be. So all I'm going to do is compare mine and fix what is wrong. Here I can already see that is 0. So let's go 0.25, 0.2. So go into the other map, 0.25, 0.2, and then it is 0.91111, 4 ones up to the color. So it's 0.9 and 4 ones. So we're going to go back here to gravel, and in here you double click and then just hit 0.9, double click 1 is correct there, double click 1, double click 1, double click 1. That's how easy it is, guys. And then lastly our softness, and then make sure pathway gravel, this must also be set to gravel. So we're going to first just check the softness. The softness is very important. The softness on this, here you can see it's at 0, and it was on my map, it was set to 0.8, so almost 1. That's why it sank in so deep, you know. So definitely a problem. I forgot to double click. There you go, 1. And then here we want to go down to gravel. There you go. And gravel's AI drive cost, I think, is high. So let's just have, or higher than 2, by the way. So let's just have a look. Yeah, it is high. AI drive cost is 8. So we want to make that, this is pathway gravel, so it's a bit sturdier than normal gravel. So I'm going to make mine 6, just to have something there that is a little bit more resistance. The AI drive cost is how much resistance the material will give to you while driving. So you'll have to use more throttle if you put a higher value in here. That's basically, it's resistance, you know, vehicle drive resistance in the ground. All right, so now that we have one line, it is as simple as clicking on the next one and then just duplicating the numbers above. So I'm going to go here 0.9 and then 0.9 for all 4 layers. You have to do all 4 layers exactly the same here. So pathway gravel 0 to 0.4, like that, and then these are all 1 already, so these I need to change. So it's double click, don't enter, just double click, and then double click, double click, double click 1, double click 1, double click 1, double click 1. And then gravel softness, I forgot to change the softness. I think that should have been 0. You guys probably laughing at me. Farmer Bob, you forgot to change it. All right, this must be 0, guys. All of them must be 0, because otherwise it's going to sink into the ground that we don't want. And then those are all 1, that's good. And then these need to change. Here you have to type 3 times slow, and then it will give you your little drop down, 3 times slow, and then gravel. All right, and then double click again, 6 for all of them. Just make sure you make all 4 layers exactly the same, otherwise you will get errors and the thing might crash or whatever. That is just a precaution. All right, so now that we've done this one, I'm going to apply, and here you have to have patience, guys. Just click apply and then yes, and then you wait. When your mouse becomes responsive at the close button, you know that it's done its job. But don't click, just wait for it. Be patient, wait. Now it's still not ready. Apply came. Just hang around here and wait for it to do all its updates on the terrain layers. Sometimes this thing crashes. There you go. You see, you can also see it didn't update here in the background, you know, of the terrain. So don't click or do anything else while it's working. Wait till the close button is hovering and active like that, and give it another 5 seconds and then click close. All right. And then quickly, or not too quickly, but then just take your time and hit the save button for your map to save. All the because otherwise everything you've done is going to go out in smokes, and the map crashes, and then you have to come back in and do all that tedious work again. I hate it when that happens. All right, so once your map has finally saved, I'm just going to close up everything here, because this is only one example of the map and all the workings of it, of how to do it. And obviously now you want to do all your ground textures that you used in your map. You can do the whole lot of them, you know, but it is, I mean, if you haven't used the ground texture, maybe you want to paint it in game. So yeah, you probably would want to do all the ground textures that is listed in your map.xml, you know. So in your map.xml at the bottom, you've got your ground textures. So if you have textures in there that is paintable in the game, you will also want to do those textures, because otherwise when you paint those in your map in game, they are certainly probably gonna suck, you know. So yeah, I would rather do it all the way, you know. Okay, continue, and then deselect all these weird mods, and then go in here, go start. And now we just sit and wait for this map to load. It takes a bit of time because there are a gazillion errors on it still. And as I said, what we will do, I will tackle this map conversion in a series so that we work through all of them piece by piece, you know. In the previous episode, I've handled a lot of them. As you can see there's some sound errors. I'll quickly... To fix the sound is like very easy to fix the sound, but I'll do an episode on that too. And then also fixing all the other stuff that are missing. And yeah, even the train, when you have a custom train on your map, it doesn't convert properly. It needs a lot of work to get the train going with XML work, and also sometimes you have to fiddle around with your R3Ds if you've got a custom train. If it's just a normal in-game, what I normally do is I just default the whole train. I leave the custom train setup, and then I'll just default all the locos and stuff back to the in-game, you know, the locos and the carts and everything, set it back to in-game. That way and the train works fine. It's just not the custom one, but I mean there's 3 different trains in the map, actually 4 if you think of the electric one. There's another extra one, so there's no need for you to have a fancy custom train. But if you do like your loco, you can obviously fiddle with the i3D of the loco and just fix that up to work. Alright, so let's test it, guys. Confirm. Here we are once again in our pathway gravel, so let's test it now. We've fixed the pathway gravel, and remember in the previous video it was like sinking like crazy down into the pathway gravel, and now look at that. That's the way it should be. And if I now go onto the stuff that I haven't fixed yet, the grass, look now, the grass should still sink in, you see. So that still needs to be done. So now you've got the choice. Do you want to have the grass sink in? But I would suggest, because at the moment it's sinking at max. You can see it's just like totally ridiculously sinking, very soft. So I will play around with the settings and come into the map, or just default it to the in-game stuff, you know. That's normally my suggestion. Just default it to the in-game stuff and it will be working fine, you know. Great, guys. So that is how you fix ground deformation in FS25 and how it works. So it's each layer, it's got its own setup. So you have to take the time and just sort it out there one for one, like I've just showed you. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has helped you a bit. It certainly took me a time to figure out what is going on, because there are stuff in the editor which is ridiculously ground deformation stuff that doesn't work. You can play with it, it does not work. I thought you'll just paint a layer like the normal tip collisions and stuff. You paint a layer where you want deformation, where you don't. It does not work like that. It works with the ground textures. That's basically a big schlep to set it up, but it's done. Once you've done all the textures, it's fine. And what I was saying about the map, if you go into your config file, map XML, here at the bottom, this is all your textures that you will have to do if they are in your, you see. So once, because I don't know if this is going to pull it from in-game and have the in-game settings, or if this texture is in your map. I believe it's going to be in your map, you know. So yeah, it's paving stones, brick, all those type of stuff. I wonder if these things are probably, they might cause an error, because I don't think all of them are in FS25, so there's still a thing to fix, or to check. Maybe some of these ground textures I've added here does not exist in FS25, then it will cause an error, because the XML pulls it and then it says, oh, but there's no rock granite, in FS25, then it puts out an error, so we'll sort that out in next videos. Great, guys. Thanks for watching, man. Have a fantastic week, and remember to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell for notifications, and do share. I do appreciate. And lastly, a huge big thank you again to those who support me on Patreon. It does help me out a lot. Thank you so much, guys. Much appreciate. Heartfelt thanks. Take care, man. Catch you on the next one. Cheers.